Hey, it's Keisha Chanel, and welcome to the official first episode of If Anything, I'm Everything. Today, we'll just be talking about, you know, realization, right? Really understanding who you are and being able to turn that into a new beginning. You'll be able to get to know me a little bit better, kind of see how I started my journey and where I'm at in that journey, and then understand why I'm just so passionate about women empowerment. The more that I talk to women around the world, I find that we are so much alike. Like, we experience some of the same things. We go through a lot of the same things, right? It's just almost seems as if, what we're seeing and, what society has given us is perfect when our lives are not even close, right? So sit back, get comfortable, and get ready to join the conversation. So, welcome back. You know, I have been single for 5 years now. To just, let's jump right into it. And, it really was a struggle for me in the beginning. It was extremely tough, right? Because everything that I was comfortable with was changing, right? And I mean, even to this day, it kind of just blows my mind because when you really think about like comfort, right? Like, that should be a safe place. Like, my home now is my sanctuary, right? I come home, I'm very intentional. It's very comforting to be home. I know that I can relax. I know that I don't have to really worry about anything. However, the comfort that I was experiencing, going through my last relationship was 10 years, was a bit toxic. And when you really think about that, your comfort zone can be detrimental to your well-being. I mean, whether it was just comfortable with the security of knowing that I would have someone to go places with, or, go out of town with, or, the crazy as it sounds, the comfort in knowing what came after the lies, being complacent in a relationship that, was kind of full of red flags from the very beginning. But I mean, that of course has been a major part of my journey as to why, I'm in the place that I am right now. But when you think of comfort, you ultimately think of like safe, right? The definition of comfort is a state of physical ease and freedom from pain or constraint. So, it always kind of just blows my mind when I think about the comfort that I was in, but it wasn't a very happy place. Now, don't get me wrong. There was no abuse, no physical abuse or anything like that. However, if I'm in a relationship, I am a very committed person. And I feel like it's sometimes to a fault, because the wrong person will 100% take advantage of that. And I can't say that he was the first one. It was just the most like in your face that I've ever had it happen to me. The infidelity of being in a relationship just being with someone that really didn't or does not respect women turned out to be, something that at the time, I don't know why I was okay with it. And not to say that I was okay, because you get upset, you separate. But then for me to forgive without, almost like it was kind of forgive without any consequences, it almost created like this false sense to him that it was going to go on for forever, right? And, I'll take full responsibility for that. Like, I did not step away or walk away. So therefore, I gave him the impression that his behavior was okay, right? And so, one of the things that, I want to talk about and that you'll hear me talk about often is just being complicit, right? Like, are you the catalyst for what's going on in your life? Like, how complicit are you in the state of where you are? Are you, a procrastinator? And so that's why, bills don't get paid or things don't happen until the last minute and you find yourself in, stressful situations. Are you an enabler? Like, do you enable people that mistreat you because of the comfort of, oh, well, I know that, when we go out and go places, he's going to pick up the tab for everything, or that he's going to, pay for everything when we go on this family vacation, or whatever the case is. It's just one of those things where, I, through this journey, have grown to understand my complicitness in each situation, right? Because I, number one, am in control of how people treat me, when it's all said and done. And so, 10 years, I got to a point where, I kind of started paying attention to things, and I just started feeling like, okay, I don't see that there's going to be a change. I don't know what it is, but there's a serious problem, right? Like, there's a problem. And I had seen certain things that we probably all see, but don't give enough thought to, or enough attention to start making changes sooner, right? The problem was much bigger than him alone. When you look at the family dynamic, looking at the family dynamic, it was kind of like, I understand why there's no respect for women, and I think it's just rooted deeper in, kind of the way he grew up and, in that relationship. But to also, my mom would not allow me to have another male around her if I was in a relationship. That's just kind of one of those things where we don't really play that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why even be committed if you're going to do those kind of things? But it was just so widely accepted, and I love them to death. No, no hard feelings, because I see that that's just, unfortunately, the way that things are. But it just causes so much hurt, right? Like, who always wants to be in drama and be hurt? Like, I just never really understood that. But I started to understand his dynamic, and therefore it made me really realize that I'm going to have to remove myself from this situation, because things are not going to change, right? And so, kind of figuring out where I wanted to go, and, that next step in my life, I started searching for a job. And it really took a long time for me to find a new job. But once I received that offer, it was kind of like, okay, I just got a job offer. I'm going to be gone in 2 weeks. And again, this kind of goes back to like, how complicit am I, right? In this relationship that has so many good parts to it, but then also that toxic, oh, you're crazy, because so-and-so called me to say that she's dealing with you, but I'm crazy, or dealing with those kind of things. And then I think trying to move past it gave him that idea that I would be there for forever. and almost probably had me thinking that I would be there for forever. Right. And so, at that moment when I made that decision to leave, it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in life. And I mean, like, hard to the point where it was physical heartbreak, right? And I mean, your heart feels one thing, but your head understands everything, right? Like your mind is telling you that this situation is not for you, that you need to move on, that love should not hurt, relationships should be easy. Or not necessarily easy. I take that back. I apologize. Not necessarily easy. However, nothing shouldn't be forced, and your mental capacity should not be challenged at every turn. Okay? And so with your mind telling you that this is a good decision because it's time to really focus on you and becoming the person that you want to be, I mean, my heart was just so broken. And I mean, like, physical. Like, I literally felt like my chest was going to burst. And I had never ever been in that situation before, but kind of like literally driving on the highway, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm about to die. Like, I'm physically about to die. Because I have decided to change my circumstances and, move outside of my comfort zone. This is the end for me, but then your mind starts to help your heart rationalize, right? Like, well, this is a new beginning. I've never been the type of person to be scared to pick up and go. I could literally live anywhere. And I feel like my kids would literally follow me anywhere in this world. As long as we have each other. I mean, we are locked in. Okay. Like, it's just, one of those kind of things where I've never ever been scared to move anywhere. So I don't think that was it. It was just the unknown of not having anyone, I imagine. That being alone, which I spent, a good amount of time alone anyway in our relationship. We did not live together. I never wanted to live with him. I don't want to offend anybody or anything like that, but shacking up was just not one of those things that I wanted. I wanted to break the cycle, like break the cycle in my family of living with men that I'm not married to. Like, I didn't want that, and still to this day, that would never happen. So, kind of starting my journey the way I did, got to Texas. I ended up leaving my son with his father. I felt like at that time that he really needed his son. And I guess you can call it selfless or whatever the case is. I feel like I'm a pretty strong woman. I feel like, again, I'm not very emotional. And it's not, something that I, just wear on my sleeves, like a badge of honor. However, as I look back and I have these conversations all the time, I've never really had the opportunity to be vulnerable. Like, even though I was in that relationship with him for 10 years, I really couldn't trust you. So, like, trust goes and is a really big deal in a relationship, right? I can't trust you to give me the security that I need. I can't trust you to mentally and emotionally provide me with what I need. Like, so I can't be vulnerable. Like, when things go wrong, yeah, I can call you. You're pretty handy and you make good money. So, you can foot the bill. That's fine. But you really couldn't give me what I needed to feel completely comfortable and okay to rely on you 100%. So, moving to Texas was a beautiful brand new start for me. Moving to a new house, registering and getting my daughter into a brand new school. It really kind of allowed me to take my mind off of what was, and really kind of just focus on the now. And I feel like that plays a really big role even today. And I try to figure out like why is that so? Like, why do I stay so busy? Why do I, create things for myself to do? Um, you know, why don't I really just take time to rest and, really give myself a mental break? And that's kind of a part of my journey and how I've been able to be really intentional about my time. But moving to Texas, it was all brand new. I continued to engulf myself in work, and then, my children. And it was kind of just one of those things where I got to the point where I really got close with God. And, I will share so many resources of books that I've read, of, books that I have now that I can read over and over again. The Bible. I'll share these things with you because I feel like they have helped me tremendously in so many areas of my life. And they've kind of helped me on this journey to just really understanding and knowing what I want, right? I journal a lot. I write a lot. I think it's very important that as a woman, you're not going to be able to move past anything if you do not hold yourself accountable. And then you have to hold those around you accountable. And I mean everybody. Like these life lessons and these changes really help you determine who's good for you in your life, how to really manage your relationships, whether it be a familial relationship or, a significant other, or even like a coworker, workplace friend relationship. And so, through this journey, it's kind of just been like asking those tough questions to myself. Like, yeah, you were complicit in the way that he treated you because you didn't stand up for yourself. Like, you allowed him to repeat the same behaviors. And what did you do? Yeah, you separated for a month, maybe, not even that long. And then he was right back doing the same things that he was doing before. And it's not as if he was the type of person to take accountability, deflected a lot. Like, nothing was ever his fault, or there was never ever a problem, And so it's kind of like, you allowed that. So, I mean, what else do you expect? And so, through your singleness and through my singleness, getting to know God, understanding that I have to be able to spend time with myself. I have to be able to love myself. I have to be able to cater to myself, to be emotionally there for myself, spiritually and mentally. Because I can't imagine being able to love someone or to meet someone and want them to embody all of these qualities, right? Like, I want this man to be a man of God. I want the Lord to be like the first person he calls on, when he's perplexed. Like, I want him to wake up and drop to his knees. I want him to have an anointed tongue. Like, I want him to speak life into others. I can't want those things for him and not have those same qualities or not embody those same qualities. So it's just been a mere, a learning experience to get to, that next level. So kind of understanding my fault in these things really helped me understand, well, no, I don't want that. I don't need that. And so, I mean, it's been a beautiful journey. I am still on this journey. Again, I journal and I write all the time. I could be at work, supposed to be working, and I'm just writing whatever comes to mind, or however I feel. I just feel like it's an outlet, right? It's a big stress reliever and a big opportunity for me to really calm myself, because I just have a busy mind anyway. But a busy mind. So now that I'm, realizing and I'm on this journey to become the best that I can be, I pick my faults apart, little by little. I date with intention. That's the plan, is to date with intention. Um, I have really kind of unpacked like the person that I am, right? Um, and what I'm really dealing with. I am not real big on like phone communication. I don't really, I mean, I have a phone, I have social media, of course, it's necessary for certain things. However, it gives me a little bit of anxiety. I don't know why, but social media gives me anxiety. Um, I will hop on, I will post whatever it is that I have to post, and I'll hop off. I may engage some of my friends that have sent me like things. And if one of my friends' posts happens to pop up, I'll like, comment, engage, or whatever the case is. But I find that communication is an area for improvement for me. Being grateful for everything has been a journey, but it's also been changing my mindset, right? Like, I understand that a lot of people don't like the word manifest, right? However, I feel like manifestation starts with changing your mindset. And I don't necessarily feel like when people use the word manifestation that there's no ties to God and that He's not the one that is propelling everything, any and everything that we're going through or we're receiving. I just feel like it has to be a mindset, right? Because I can't necessarily sit on my couch and say, well, Heavenly Father, my heart's desire, I don't want to work, but my rent needs to get paid. Like, there's no way. Like, I cannot not work and then rent be paid. Like, that's not how it works, right? There has to be action behind prayer. And I feel like gratitude, communication, and just accepting where you are and where you need to start is very important. Like, I talk to women all the time, and I mean, we're all one and the same, right? Like, even at this, at this point in my journey, I would love company. I would love comfort. I would love security. I would love the opportunity to have an intellectual conversation with a real man. Like, and I'm not talking about someone that is pretending to be someone that they're not. I mean, like a real man that understands that you don't have to be perfect, right? Like, you don't have to be perfect. However, you have to be real and authentic, right? I meet a lot of guys like that, and I can tell right off the bat if they don't really know who they are. And it makes me question, do they even like who they are? Because they're not being themselves. And then that, to me, kind of says how it's got to be exhausting to not be yourself, right? To put up this facade. Like, I cannot do it. I already don't get enough sleep. I could not be somebody that that I'm not. I just couldn't do it. But I see it a lot. I encounter it a lot. And I dismiss it a lot. Like, I'm not even going to waste any breath, any time. No breath. I apologize. I hope you find everything that you're looking for. And then that's kind of how that moves on, But being intentional and dating intentionally and just being very careful about the things that I think of myself, the things that I tell myself, the places that I go, the people that I entertain when I'm out. Like, I'm very intentional. Like, as soon as I come home from work, I vacuum my floors. So I have a dog, and she unfortunately sheds. So, like, I guess until I can really get into my comfort zone in my home, I have to vacuum all of my floors. And then I light a candle. My candle is lit. I have certain lighting in my house that I like to turn on. And I mean just a lamp, like in the living room, all the other lights off. I may, play a little music, but more so than anything, I love to run water. Like, I don't know what it is about water, but I am absolutely at peace when I am surrounded by water. Or even washing my face or running the shower. Like, I probably spend a lot of money on my water bill. Like, that's probably one of my higher bills because I run water a lot. And I don't know what it is. I like the white noise. I don't know if it just kind of relaxes me or what. I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, I used to come home and run the vacuum, and I would just turn it on and listen to it. Like 20, 30 minutes of the vacuum just running. So maybe that's why I vacuum my house every day. However, it's very relaxing for me, to be in a clean space with pure intentions. I love for things to smell good. I mean, I use room sprays. I use bath sprays, pillow sprays, like everything. Because I like aromatherapy. I love to be relaxed, and I love for, the people around me to be relaxed, so that's kind of, the means of, just being intentional about my space and who I let into my space, through everything I'm learning that this journey is never ending, I feel like I am becoming my best self because I don't hold myself to a certain box, right? Like, today, I'm going to work on, loving myself a little bit more, right? Looking in the mirror, and marveling at how beautiful I am inside and out, tomorrow I may say, you know what? I am going to, go and take a walk around the block because I physically want to be healthier. It's never ending, So where are you on your journey? And it's okay if you haven't started. It's perfectly fine if you are still figuring out what that journey looks like. As long as you're doing everything for you, I think you'll be okay. But I think if you are at that point where you want change, you definitely are going to have to be intentional about it. And you're definitely going to have to be open about it, be honest about it. Because the one thing that I do know is that the people that really love and care about you are going to cheer you on. And they've already accepted you, right, for being who you are. So there's really no failing in that. There's really no failing, only beauty. The beauty in starting fresh. The beauty in finding you. The beauty in just being authentic. So I challenge you to share your journey, whether you've been on it like me for 5 years, or you're just starting, or you haven't decided or know where you're going to start. Join the conversation. I'd love to talk with you about it. I learn new things every day. I feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident in my journey every day. I am excited about, where this is going and where I'll be in the next year or so. And I'm excited to get to know you and hear about what your hopes are. What affirmations do you tell yourself to make it through the day? Like, how are you intentional? I'd love to know. So, thank you for getting to know me. I cannot wait to get to know you. This season is going to be amazing. We're going to have some great conversations, and I'll see you next Wednesday.